All right, hi guys. So my name's Ben Holton. I'm associate director with Sentio Partners. So Sentio Partners are a corporate finance firm based out of Leeds. So we were part of the No Code hack. Obviously, quite a long way out of our comfort zone, but thoroughly enjoyed the day and was really impressed having worked with Nutshell through the day in terms of their platform and what could be achieved. And I look forward to taking you through what we went through in the day. Michael, if you just want to introduce yourself.
Of course, yeah. So I'm Michael Hayes. I'm a junior product designer in Nutshell Apps. We're a no-code app builder, so we work in desktop and mobile solutions. We do a lot of form building and multiple other industries as well.
Perfect, thank you. So if I first take you through what the problem is that we're trying to solve. So in the end of the day, raising money from external investors is really can be a confusing and complex process. So there's a lot of jargon and funders expect a really high level of financial literacy when engaging with founders and entrepreneurs. So in order to kind of improve that, there's a distinct lack of knowledge, guidance available online, and sometimes it can be difficult to find and access relevant resources on the internet. There's a lot of information out there, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it is not specific to startups, or it's hard to translate the information available to the founder's business. As well as this, a lot of the information is static and isn't consolidated into one place, which can make it hard to work out exactly what's needed and when. As well as this, another hurdle that we see is that sometimes entrepreneurs can have limited networking connections with external funders, especially if it's the first time that they're doing it. Realistically, many entrepreneurs can struggle in expanding their networks and accessing relevant contacts. And a lack of network shouldn't preclude a successful company from raising external money, and we're looking to solve that. Finally, engaging with potential investors requires effective communication and presentation skills, and entrepreneurs often struggle with articulating their value proposition, addressing investor concerns, and handling tough questions. So if I bring you on to the solution that we've designed in the day, so the funding support guide, named TBC, is basically a comprehensive interactive checklist to support founder teams in raising external capital. It's an interactive guide and it includes a range of toolkits, video presentations, guides to support entrepreneurs through the process. And this is throughout the whole process as well. So all the way from setting the founder's vision, defining the problem they're trying to solve, all the way through to setting suitable KPIs for a business plan, and all the way through to then tracking conversation with funders, working out who the right funders should be, and things like that. So on that note, Michael, if you want to quickly just do a quick guide.
If I jump into the Funding in a Nutshell app, you can see our checklist here. Every element you see on the screen here was built within the day on the no-code hack. So the idea here is the user would want to go through and complete each module and complete a checklist. This will give them various bits of information, or they can add in information about themselves as well. You can upload a company logo, add a blurb. So we build no-code solutions. And we could find a problem that the user is trying to solve. The app will save any data and pull through. So here we've pulled through our problem. And we can list main benefits. Every element you see in here is a component built inside of Nutshell. We use drag and drop to be able to pull everything on here and Sentio try out themselves. So here would give a summary of a company profile. We'd be able to export this as a PDF. Once everything is complete, go back to the module overview, and the module should be ticked now. So the idea is they want to go through each of these and get all of those to some ticks. Include different information, so equity funders, And a user would be able to say what kind of partner they're looking for. This would feed into a later section where they're looking into investors. Here as well, we do a set of simple calculations. This gives the user an idea of how their funding would work. And again, we go through to prepare the business plan. This one will let them use a little bit more of a complicated funder. And to figure out how much they'll earn over the course of 3 years. We can also set limits, such as 2 decimal places, so that information has to be correct for the calculations. And we'll get a summary screen at the end there. So very quickly, the last section is potential investors. Here, a user would be able to add any individuals they'd want to contact for a later CRM type solution. And we can limit if this is going to be an exact phone number as well to make sure people add in the right solutions. And this would be a database of any potential investors as well there, being able to add more. Back to the module tracker, eventually this would all be green ticks. There we go, and then back to you, Ben.
Perfect. Okay, so how does this solve the problems that we set out earlier? So the guide simplifies, let me just get rid of this. So the guide simplifies what can be a complex and confusing process by offering clear, structured information, interactive learning experience and practical examples and real-world scenarios. So it provides step-by-step instructions which are relevant to the business and explains key concepts and best practices in a really easy and understandable manner. So where the process requires calculation, so for instance, the equity dilution calculator that Michael took us through earlier, the checklist provides a toolkit to guide the user step by step through the process. As well as this, we offer practical tips, video tutorials and interactive exercises to give founders confidence to have tough conversations with funders. We also support entrepreneurs to expand their networks through an investor database, which will be submitted by investors together with their funding criteria, as well as offering strategies for networking effectively. And so what we think is that these resources will enable entrepreneurs who maybe don't already have those networks to identify and connect with the right investors more quickly. So it's worth noting it doesn't replace targeted corporate finance advice, but hopefully it will sit alongside it to make those conversations more targeted and specific by giving founders the advice they require to get up to speed quickly through the process. So it's really important for us that it's not only a guide, just to support people who already know what the process is, but we really want to support the local community and increase the proportion of founders from underserved communities that are successful in raising external monies. And we do this via a few ways. And what we really want to do is democratise information about external fundraising to increase financial literacy within the community by cutting through the jargon. So this hopefully will bridge the funding gap for underserved entrepreneurs, which will then drive a more diverse and inclusive startup ecosystem, which will then, hopefully our aim is to promote that economic growth and inclusivity within these communities. So in terms of the key outcomes that we're looking for by developing this tool, firstly, we want to promote and encourage startups and entrepreneurship within the region. So there's so many great businesses that we see within the region, and we just want to increase external awareness, especially from investors outside of Leeds in Yorkshire, by raising that external awareness of that through empowering the local companies to have more effective conversations with funders. External fundraising can drive increased growth, leads to improvement in the local economy, and increases levels of job creation. So we believe that it's vital that we support founders in any way possible through this process in what can be a more efficient and cost-effective manner than getting really targeted advice from a professional services firm. What we don't want to do is make sure that the cost of advice will get in the way of any budding startups within the region. And so by doing this, we really want to simplify the process, make it available to as many people as possible, And as we said in the previous slide, hopefully that will increase the representation of the underrepresented communities and drive diversity through the startup ecosystem. Finally, next steps. So what we've developed was only an MVP. Realistically, we only had a day to finish the app, and the fact we got as far as we did is testament to the strength of Nutshell Apps and the system that they've developed. We want to build in the further features that we think will support entrepreneurs, such as an investor database, which will require external input. So we've got to go through that process as well. And then it's through to releasing a pilot within the region and assessing how effective it is in supporting entrepreneurs, getting feedback, and then iterate as required. So thanks for listening to the pitch. And yeah, that's